angle.
All right, the Nigerian youth, talking about giving them mentorship, direction, and all that. We know that Nigerian youths are passionate and they want to be, in the scheme of things. And right now, Nigerian youths are canvassing for a more leadership position. Do you think they are ripe to handle such positions now?
Thank you so much for that. What I think is this, that when a group of Nigerians recently, during the Buhari's administration, we're doing handover today in Nigeria, during that administration, there was this not too young to run bill that was pushed and passed into law. Now, the idea to push for a reduced age into offices was not born out of or due consideration. It was because a lot of things were put into place, and you realize that if the constitution limits the age by which people can start getting involved in politics, by the time they're ready and in quote empowered to be in these positions, they would have passed some certain age. So really, I think that Nigerian youth have every right, and it's happening all over the world. It's not just in Nigeria. The youngest president in the world, they're all emerging, and the ages are getting down. In the past, we would have people in their 50s and their 60s. Now we're having people in their 40s, not just men. We're having women even in their 40s ruling in the affairs of their nation. Why would it be different for Nigerians? If we can have the right mentality, which is my advocacy really, I call it political education for Nigerian youth. It's very important that people understand what leadership truly is, and when you hand it over to them, they can run faster, they can move faster, and then when we all work together, the elders are not saying, oh no, it's the young people are foolish. And there's a general statement I like to make. I say leadership does not reside in any age strata. You can be an adult or an elderly person and be foolish, and you can be a young person and be stupid. But you can also be a young person and be the best your country could have, and you can also be an elderly person and you bring the best to the table. So it's not so much about the age, it's so much about the values that we have imbibed in us over the time, and that's what will reflect when we get that power into our hands. Nigerian youths, I believe, are ready to lead, and I hope to see more of it in this current dispensation, where we have youths being given position of responsibility in different places and allowing them to learn the rope, allowing them to make mistakes where they could make mistakes, allowing them to get familiar with the corridors of power. And as they grow in these different positions and roles, they become seasoned leaders, so that when the elders eventually retire, they can go to bed and rest assured that the Nigerian youths that they've been grooming over the time, or given the opportunity to lead, are actually doing and will do the right thing for the generations to come.
All right. Looking at the activities of the Nigerian youth, in their events, the build up to the election and all that, you can see that it seems there was a yearning for someone younger and all that to be in the helm of affairs in Nigeria. But here we are today. There's going to be an inauguration and all that. How can the Nigerian youth renew their hope, and anticipation that this government is going to place them rightly?
Thank you for that. Politics is an interesting arena to be in. Politics is I call it a game of numbers, not a game of people's lives and all that. Nigeria, really, we're all here. We know how it turned out. A lot of people wanted to go for someone, and I would just refer it this way, that I think from the four major contenders, we really do not have a young person as it's really were, because the youngest of them all, out of the first four, are not even below 50. And, so the people we're looking for is someone who probably has a semblance of what this person looks more like her, so let's go for it. But the truth really is, the young persons we're looking for, I believe they will come maybe in the next 4 years and all that. And the Nigerian spirit, the Nigerian dream is not about one person. Now we're handing power over to the president and the vice president today, but that's not the beginning and end of Nigeria. Nigeria is in our different states. Nigeria is in our different local government. Nigeria is in our different families. Nigeria is even outside Nigeria because we have a lot of our citizens in different countries. We all should know that this home belongs to no other person but us, and we have to build it. And when you're building a house, it's not just the builder, it's not just the bricklayer, it's not just the person who does the woodwork, or the person who does the louvers or the mirrors around the house, or the aesthetics, the fixtures and the fittings. It's a united force. And so for me, I believe that if a nation is going to be built, the adults, the elders will come with their wisdom, the young men and women will come with their strength, and the children will come with their playful spirit. And then even though you're working towards building a nation, you're still doing it with joy. I want to believe that the next set of leaders we're going to have in Nigeria, having gone through a whole lot of issues and circumstances that led to what we are having today, will be more mindful of the people, knowing that the voice of the people counts. I think Nigerian politics is maturing. We're getting to that stage where people realize that accountability is very, very important and dear to the hearts of Nigerians. For me, in my organization, Project One of the things we try to do to fix the problem of today, and there's a problem today, we all agree. We've had what we would call drought of leadership, or we don't have enough strong young persons in political positions. So when I started my school club activities, what I did was I started from the primary and the secondary school. So I currently in Abuja at this moment have over 231 students that are going through my leadership club. Now all of them know that by the time they turn 18, they must have their voters card. All of them also know that from that 18 down to 25, some of them will be preparing to take up positions. So it doesn't happen in a day. You don't just wake up in 2024 and say, I'm running for position of president in 2027. You don't just wake up in 2021 and say, I'm running for the office of the president in 2023. And that's why you see some young people aspire for these offices even around that time that the four people emerged. But they didn't go so far because politics involve a lot of finances. And I tell people, I said, the truth is, by the time you go to primary school, you finish at age 11 or 12. You go to secondary school, you finish at 18. You go to 17 or 16 these days. Then you get into the university. The earliest time you're out of the university, if you're not from a very rich home, is in your 20s. How many years do you need to work to get the money that can fund your campaign to become somebody on that high level in Nigeria? So the system, the educational system would not support that dream of having young persons in power if people do not rally around you. So if the young persons really want young people to be in power, when a young person eventually step out to say, I want to be a president, I want to be a governor in my state, the responsibility will be on all of us to contribute and support that person. And I believe that I hope that the elderly ones too, at that time would say, okay, it's time for us to support one person that would work in the advisory role and bring this person to lead our people. I think Nigeria is maturing. Since 1960 till now, it's been different stories, and every country of the world goes through different stages. We can't arrive there in a day. We can't get there in one day. So Nigeria has been on a journey. I'm a very hopeful citizen. I believe that each year it gets better. The participation of the youth in this election, you can't compare it to the one we had in 2015. You can't compare it to the one we had earlier in the past, because people are becoming more aware. So it's gradual. We might not see it, we might want to say, no, things are not going the way we want. No, but actually things are actually changing. Nothing is the same. People are becoming more politically aware, and that's the stage. This year I would say we crossed the order of getting more Nigerian youth to collect their PVC. In further years, we will have more Nigerians not just collect their PVCs, but aspire for more offices in Nigeria. And as time goes on, you have more youths also supporting other youths. So it's gradual. It takes places. Those that we're seeing today that are at the end of affairs, they have also crossed the line. It took them longer years, but for us to take a shorter time. We're in that digital age, we're in the Gen Z age, so informations can go around faster, education can go around quicker, and I think it will be better for us all to stay alive for Nigerian youth. This is our country, and we're going to build it with our strength. That's what the national anthem and pledge says. To build a nation where peace and justice reign has been my regular and my common slogans.
It's quite obvious about your passion for youth development, flowing from the submissions you've had to give on this program. But of course, only if is it that we fast forward time and just have the about 200 children you talk about being in your leadership training at this time, just be mature enough to take opposition, because I'm bothered when you talk about youths currently who are in the corridors of power. There are some who believe that are they having the right leadership, the right mentorship? Because you find most of them, they are those who will follow the current set of leaders that we have, which some Nigerians have also said that the cause of our problem, or the reasons why we've not left the problem that we are in currently at this time. So you begin to wonder, what can they learn from all of these leaders, if that is the path they are towing? But let's perhaps you comment on that later on. But let's talk about the conference you held recently, which is the conference on renewed hope for citizens. Tell us, what exactly informed that conference, and what are the takeaways from the conversations that you had?
Fantastic. So for me, the Nigerian conference, that's what it's rightly called, this starts today. This 2023 would make it our 7th. It's an annual conference. It's today our 7th edition, and it's always been a place where we bring Nigerians to have conversations around the country, around things happening at the time of the conference. Last year, I'll take it from there and I'll talk about this year. Last year, we have the theme for the last year conference was called Rebuilding the Nation, and that came at a time when there were a lot of agitations for, we have the Biafra people saying, we want to move to our own country. We have people raising up. We have Arewa. It seems like we're more polarized and divided than united. So at that point, our call for the nation is for everybody to come together so that we can actually rebuild Nigeria. If foundations had been laid for us, how many bricks have we actually built? Have we built this country to a place that people can sleep and say they won't be beaten by rain? And then you probably not see the Japa syndrome as we're seeing it today. Those are the conversations we had last year. But this year is a new term. It's a new government coming into place. It's a new president. It's a new vice president. It's a new dispensation. Some people will describe it as much as we had democracy in the last 8 years under that's under Muhammad Buhari. You would still say that there's a bit of that general Simo aspect of him that we found in a subtle manner, but it was still there. But currently we're going to have one person who is a civilian and coming into power, and we expect something different. So this year we called the theme of the conference Renewed Hope for a New Nigeria. Our hopes has to be kept alive. Where there is no hope, heart will fail. When people give up on something, then it's as if you give up on it for it to die. So the conversations went around showing us the things that are working and taking our attention off the things that divide us. I find it very interesting that hardly would you have a Nigerian discourse today, and the things we'll be talking about are, we are divided along religion, we are divided along the tribe. But then we have to sit down and ask ourselves, the way we can easily talk about the diversity, can we quickly talk about unity? Can we change our focus and keep the hope alive in our mind to say, this united us. We're united when it comes to football. When you get outside this country, one of the speakers at the conference said Nigerians are more united when they leave the four walls of Nigeria. Because when you get there, you're not asking, you're Igbo, you're Nigerian. That's what everybody says when we're outside the shores of those lands. So really, we need to bring that spirit back home.
How can we replicate that right here in Nigeria? Because that's one issue. Hello?
I can hear you.
How can we replicate you're Nigerian rather than you're Yoruba, you're Igbo, you're Hausa right here in Nigeria?
Fantastic. That's one of the reasons why we hold the Nigerian conference. It's our goal that this year we'll be able to push this narrative faster and across the nation better. People need to start identifying as a Nigerian. So one of the things we do is we clothe babies in the wardroom, in the IDP camps, in the rural areas, and then even adults now have branded clothes. I'm a Nigerian nurse, I'm a Nigerian doctor. These things are subtle, but it's all about orientation, and it's all about creating that identity, pride in national identity, where you're proud to say, this is the country I'm from. These are the things that work in my country, regardless of what anybody else has to tell you. Because many of the times you hear the bad about this country, but the truth is this: Nigeria is the land of many opportunities. We have the resources that no other country in the world can boast of. We have the human resource, and I'm sure you know.
Of course.
When you meet Nigerians, man, we're the most interesting. There's a vibe around every Nigeria. Everywhere we get to, you can tell. Any country you get to, you will hear Nigerian music. You will meet a Nigerian. In the medical profession outside this country, people who are excelling in Nigeria. So we need to start creating that pride where we work. We shouldn't look down on ourselves within the country. So sometimes when we think things are not working in Nigeria, one of the things I tell people is, those other countries you see, they are like hotels. They show you the beautiful part. They don't show you where they're cooking. The dirty areas of their country, they don't show you that. They show you the places where the beds are well laid. When you get out there, you realize that the grass is only greener on the other side. We have all it takes in Nigeria. We have few things to fix. If you can fix security, if you can fix an issue of our economics, really things will totally turn around. And if we have the right people at the helm of affairs, I believe that that pride will return. We need to do more things, promote more things that unite us than the things that divide us.
Right.
I think that's the consciousness we need to put in people. We have books. We have, like I said, the I'm a Nigerian campaign, which I would want you to also join me in saying it.
Okay.
I'm a Nigerian. Anywhere you go, I'm Nigerian. I'm Nigerian. I think it goes, that pride, it radiates. And then you realize that gradually people are growing up into that consciousness and into the national pride and national identity.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. I'm in Nigeria, you said it's subtle, but then it has strong impact, on the children as you're giving them the orientation. And you mentioned something about dividing lines. Most of the time, it's more conspicuous when it comes to the time of politicking. You see politicians are trying to establish the difference, in across these divides. You are a lawyer by training. Do you think that maybe postulating a law that says politicians should not campaign along these lines, helping to further push the spirit of being a Nigerian?
Yeah, true. I would say it is actually very true. As much as it's a very sore point, and I'm not sure I should go there, but in this current, the president and the vice president, for me, as much as it looked like a very sore point, are from the same religion. But at some point, some people drop that garment to say, okay, we're not looking at that. We're looking at, can they deliver? Can they do it? It's political. But can we work together? Can we look more on those things that we demand more accountability, not because you belong to my faith. I shouldn't associate or affiliate with you because you belong to my tribe, but because you can do things for my tribe and my people at large. We've seen instances where a northerner would favor more of southerners or someone who would bring everybody together in the same pool and not say, oh, because we belong to this religion or because you belong to this religion. So I think that in our narratives, we should hold our leaders to more accountability. When it comes to the narrative they want to push, when they want to divide us, they bring up these conversations. They will raise those topics. But when they do not need that, then nobody's talking. When people say when they're sharing the loot, nobody is saying you're tall or short. Nobody is saying you're dark or you're fair when they're sharing the loot. But when they want to sell the dummies to the people on the street, they bring out this position and then everybody's jumping at it. I call it red herring. And Nigerians should be aware of it. We should talk more about the things that unite us. Because in unity, there's prosperity. If we think we lack things in Nigeria, if we think we lack advancements in Nigeria, we should also realize that it's possible that we're putting in the wrong ingredients into the things that make up for advancement in any nation. We need to drop conversations and narratives to talk about disunity, focus on unity, and focus on prosperity. And I believe that all of us would actually benefit from this land called Nigeria.
All right.
It's our own, actually.
Okay. It's good to know that you are in Abuja. Can you tell us how it feels in Abuja right now, this morning?
I think Abuja is calm and cool. And, there's been at the stadium yesterday, a lot of setting up at the Eagles Square yesterday. Done a lot of setting up, and we're going to start by 9 a.m. inauguration, and we'll start properly. Guests are meant to start getting seated, and I think Abuja is calm.
Will you be there to see it live and direct?
Yes, I will be there. When I'm done with this interview, I definitely will be on my way to participate in the handing over process. It's always a sight, really. And we already have presidents who have arrived in Nigeria. A lot of African presidents have already arrived, and they will be coming over as well to the venue. It's always very inspirational, and knowing that this is new dawn, and we're hoping to get the best out of this current dispensation. We're not going to hand over. Is just one of the participants at the conferences is time to put politics aside and let's get into governance. This is not time to witch hunt anybody. This is the time to say what are the things that we need to fix in Nigeria. So today is a good day. It's exactly very calming. It's a Monday. On a usual day, people will be rushing off to work on a Monday. But people are in their homes. Most people that I know and my friends are in front of their TVs trying to watch and see how the whole proceeding will take place. And in the evening, there will be an inauguration get-together with the different head of states and one or two rubbing of minds. One thing I love about this current administration that is coming in is there are already conversations in different corners as to what and what needs to be fixed. And people are we've gone through a lot. Permit me to say that in the last few years, a lot of things have been happening in Nigeria and all over the world generally. So it's a time for people to sit down and say, how can we fit home? No matter how much most of us run outside the country, I tell people, even when you get that red card, even when you get that blue card, they will still ask you where you're originally from. It's like a leopard that can't change its skin. You're there, but you know that this is not fully yours. People can't come back home because if home is actually working, a lot of people will return home. So we need to make it work. For others that have left, that may want to come back, and for those of us that are here, and for those who cannot leave. That's why some of us will never leave Nigeria, because we have to make it work.
Interesting. You have a huge task on your hands, trying to, to solidify our leadership recruitment process at this particular time. But let's now take a, critical look at the incoming administration beyond the euphoria and the excitement right there in Abuja, the nation's capital. If you had the opportunity to hand a template to the coming government on the areas to hit the ground running from, I know you're passionate about youth development. What are some of those areas you want the coming government to hit the ground running from?
Fantastic. So I'll answer by saying, for a number of years in my life, I have a book that I write on about Nigeria. So if I were to hand over my book, I think I'll be talking about the different sectors of this country. I took time in the past, my first time of reading this country, that's from third word to first, story of Singapore by Lee Kuan Yew. I found out the country moved, though they had longer terms when they have their own leadership. I found out how the country can move from what you classify as a third world to a first world country. And some of those things that you pen down has to do with the security issue. So for me, if the country is going to hit the ground running, I would say first, one of the things I would take as a minus for the administration that is going out was the style of choosing their leaders. I remember when Buhari first got into power in 2015, people were waiting, okay, so who are the leaders? Who is in charge of this ministry? Who is in charge of these agencies? I would want the country to redirect, or the leadership of this current administration to redirect their focus and not spend too much time politicking about who to put in place, but to put the right feet in the right place, and then to address issues that bothers Nigeria. And the major things that I really think bothers Nigeria, issues around security and self-reliance possibilities. A lot of Nigerians are here, they're not comfortable in code. I tell people that there seems to be two countries in Nigeria. I travel around Nigeria a lot because of my project. And then in Abuja, there seems to be a country. And then you go to another place and you're seeing another set of country. There's poverty out there. We cannot shy away from that. There are a lot of sufferings. There are a lot of death. There are a lot of medical issues that need to be fixed. So every single position that is given out, every single leader that is appointed at the end of every affair, all of them must hit the ground running at the same time, because we do not have the time. If you're in the education sector, hit the ground running. And to say the truth, If you go to these ministries, there are a whole lot of proposals from different people that are come that you can pick from and read and say, oh, this is the problem. I don't think you should just get into power without being prepared. Don't know the problems I had, like I said, with the past administration. Do you have the template, or you want to be a leader? Are you saying you do not know the problems of the people that you want to lead? You shouldn't get confused when you get into power. When you get into power, you should be running already, not now. Oh, so what are the problems? That's a very
no time for warm up. That's what you're saying, basically. It's eating. I said no time for warm up. It's eating the tracks running.
No time.
Thank you so much, Barrister BISAYO Akinadeju, youth advocate and convener, Project One. Thank you so much for coming on the program to share your thoughts with us on this historic day in Nigeria. I also understand that you are a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrator in the United Kingdom and, of course, in Nigeria, as well as she is also nominated as one of the 100 most influential young Nigerians in 2018 and 2019. Thank you so much for coming on the program today. I will hope that we have more of you right here in Ondo State. Since you travel around Nigeria, I want to have you more in Ondo State to bring all of those projects and the impact you're making right there in Abuja here too.
I totally want to say thank you to what you are doing in Nigeria as well, because in that space and in that corner, you're actually moving things forward. And Nigeria would appreciate you just the same way you appreciate Nigeria. And definitely Ondo State is my home, Ondo State is my roots. I can't run away from home, like I said, it's home within home.
Okay, thank you so much for your time today. I do have a lovely celebration right there at the Eagle Scale later today. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right, that's the conversation we've been able to have with Barrister BISAYO Akinadeju, BUSARI-AKINNADEJU, a youth advocate on the way forward, building the new Nigeria. We'll take a break now, and when we come back, yes, we'll eat the discussion again, another one from another angle, about what really the task ahead for the coming administration. Please stay tuned.